We got a lot to catch up on. WWE is now on Netflix. The Tribal Chief is back in charge. Kevin Owens done lost his mind. AEW Maximum Carnage, Death Riders, the return of Kenny Omega, the Hurt Syndicate, and more. Plus, we have NXT and TNA news. Welcome to Brawl Till We Fall.
We over here, you over there. You better stay over there. You ain't ready. But see us, we stay ready. We always.
If you don't know by now, my name is Teo. And yes, Brawl Till We Fall is back. I want to apologize first and foremost because we were supposed to be back last week, but I had death in the family. So I apologize for y'all not seeing the show and we weren't able to record at the moment. Had to take care of family business. So I apologize for that. But we are back nonetheless, and we still got a lot of things to talk about. So we're going to get started with AEW and jump into that. There's a lot going on in AEW. Kenny Omega is back. He was out for 13 months on a severe illness. And he faced Brian Cage, who's a part of the Don Callis family, which has grown since the last time we spoke. Don Callis is not my favorite person. But at the end of the day, he's still, like I said, and always said, he's a smart person to a certain extent. But he still has Kyle Fletcher and Takashita, but he has Trent Beretta and Lance Archer and Brian Cage now part of this clique, which has made him a little bit more powerful. And I like the fact that he had the Murder Hawk monster Lance Archer because he was backstage destroying people, trying to get that attention. So now Don Callis has somebody, and he has somebody to control, basically, the Murder Hawk monster, who started off with Jake the Snake Roberts, but we don't know what actually happened with that. But to no avail, there was a fight, Kenny Omega versus Brian Cage, and Kenny Omega, of course, got the win. After the match, they tried to jump on Kenny Omega because Kenny Omega was a part of Don Callis' family. Well, it was just Don Callis at the time, and things did not go as according to plan in the end. They had a very bad breakup, I should say. So with that being said, Don Callis still holds grudges against Kenny Omega. So any chance he gets to destroy him, he basically is going to try. But to no avail, somebody else who was a part of the Don Callis family, Will Ospreay, came to the rescue of Kenny Omega, which we've known Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay have had their beefs from years and years ago. And so seeing Will Ospreay come to the rescue of Kenny Omega is something different that we didn't think would happen. But I tell you what, those two get together, trust and believe Don Callis is going to have a big problem. Now, they do need more people because Lance Archer and Brian Cage are two big dudes. Kyle Fletcher and Takashita are very, very serious wrestlers. So they would have to they would have to align themselves with maybe the Young Bucks. I don't know. Anywho, either way, they still would need another man, I guess, for Trent Beretta, but I haven't seen him in a minute either. So whatever the case may be, and I'm going to jump around a lot, so hopefully y'all keep up. I'm going to stay in the actual AEW platform and jump around. Now probably when I do the WWE, I'm going to jump around too. Just trying to get the news out there to you. You know, this is the new 2025 Brawl Till We Fall. Not doing any cut here, breaks there, none of that. Got new sponsors coming, but until then, this is what we're going to do. So hopefully you guys can keep up. All right, so with that being said, this past Saturday, Will Ospreay asked to get a 1-on-1. So next week, Wednesday on Dynamite, there will be 1-on-1 face-to-face Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay in the ring. And see, maybe they're going to work something out. I don't know. Moving on, Ricochet. Ricochet came in, and it was because of Will Ospreay, because he wanted to show what he can do. But he has since turned a heel, and he has attacked my boy Swerve Strickland, and I don't like that because Swerve Even though Swerve did start it with the mouth, um, Ricochet does not have that persona, that character, to go up against a Swerve. He sounds nerdy. He shouldn't be on the microphone. Very squeaky voice. I don't see him as being threatening. However, it's the ones that are quiet that you gotta watch. So, and he seemed like that type of dude. But at the other end of that stick, it doesn't fit. I think he should stick to his aerial assault tactics and do something else. I'm not buying it. He doesn't look scared enough to me to be facing somebody like Swerve. Anyway, he has done a lot of crazy things like cutting up Swerve, attacking him in his face, cutting him up. I don't know. Let's see where that's gonna go. Moving on, let's talk about the Hurt Syndicate, led by MVP Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley. There's been a lot of talks that came before they came there, but they came in, and I see them getting belts real quick. In fact, next week. That's how quick it is. They had a match, which it was good to see MVP in the ring, actually with his brothers doing things. So that was great. He still got it. They battled Mark Briscoe and the Private Party, who actually has the tag team belts, which brings me to what's going to happen next week. But before I get there, I'm just going to let you know the Hurt Syndicate destroyed them, which is not hard, which is not easy because Mark Briscoe is a veteran, and he did take him to work, but in the end, you cannot outdo that power of Bobby Lashley. He is the powerhouse. And not to take anything from Shelton Benjamin, because he's got the power and the speed and the agility. So having that with the brains of MVP, that is a very powerful syndicate. Real powerful. So next week, they got a championship chance to get that goal against Private Party, which I think is going to be easy walking apart. Private Party got all the skills of fast, speed, and all that, but they don't have that one key factor: power. And I say that for any tag team. To be a tag team that's powerful, and I learned this from watching the Steiner Brothers, you gotta have not only the speed, agility, power. You need that power. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about the Rated R Superstar who came back, Adam Copeland, with FTR, calling themselves Rated FTR, which is crazy, but they all good. And they came out going up against the Blackpool Combat Club, who's now known as the Death Riders, led by Jon Moxley. All right, let me say something. Okay, so Jon Moxley, I'm a fan. But all this group is a new invention of DX. You got Marina Shafir. Moxley comes out like Triple H with the water bottle. He blows the water all over the place. And then he's got his group of, lackeys behind him, doing the same thing that they did with DX. Just not the shenanigans. Because I don't take nothing from X-Pac. He is no joke. I mean, not X-Pac. Pac is no joke. This dude is the real deal. He is not no joke. So there's no games or shenanigans. These guys are very serious. Even Wheeler Yuta is serious. And they ain't doing nothing that the DX did, the craziness. But they are crazy in violence. So that I give to them. They are like a violent DX. But to no avail, it ain't nothing that's new under the sun. Marina Shafir is a scary person. She is not as scary as China was, but she gives off that China feel. So, like I said, this is like a new version of DX that is really, really out there. And like I said, I'm going to jump all over the place. So I'm going to jump to what happened over, because, all right, so let me go back a little bit. Okay, so AEW named this week's Dynamite Maximum Carnage. Now, honestly, I didn't see no carnage until we got to Saturday. So Saturday is where they had the Carnage 2. So I'm going to jump over there because over there was a match that had 12 men. Now, it was supposed to be a 12-man tag team match. However, okay, so let me just give it to you. All right, so it was supposed to be a 12-man tag team match with rated FTR, Outrunners, and Hobbs versus the Learning Tree with Jericho, Big Bill, Brian Keith, and the Death Riders, Moxley, Willa Yuta, and Claudio. However, the Learning Tree took it upon themselves to try to take out Hobbs with the baseball bat and hit him on his knee. So that left it to be 11-man tag team, making it short for rated FTR Outrunners. So this was crazy. It was carnage. It was exactly what this was supposed to be, what this was named for AEW. They were outside the ring. They were all over the place. They were doing stuff. And they even tried to kidnap my man, the Rated R superstar himself, Adam Copeland. And it didn't work, but it was just everywhere. But to no avail, Hobbs hobbled out there and got the win. He got that W for the Rated FTR and Outrunners. So he still came out, even though they tried to take him out. They couldn't take out a big man like that. And how he got injured in the first place, so I'm going to go back again over here. He had a match against none other than the champion himself. So when he had this match against the champion, it left him an injury. So whenever you face Jon Moxley, you're going to leave with an injury. I don't care if it's a bloody injury or a neck injury or arm injury. You're going to leave with some type of injury because Jon Moxley is very technical and he is going to injure you some way. You will know, even if you got the win, you're going to know you've been in a fight. In this case, Hobbs did not get the win. Jon Moxley is still the champion, and I think he's going to be a champion for a minute. Not only because he has a nice backing from his group of the New DX, but just because Jon Moxley is crazy. That's it. I'm going to just say it. He's crazy. So because he's crazy, ain't nobody really going to mess with him like that or can mess with him like that. He is on that level of extra crazy. Anyway, let me just move on. All right. So as we talked about Jon Moxley and his craziness, we talked about Lashley, Adam Copeland. All right, so let's talk about MJF and Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett was going to retire, but he got an extra set of energy. So when he got that extra set of energy, he decided to stay. Now, they had a very interesting segment on Dynamite. And I give credit. I was been a Jeff Jarrett fan, and I became a MJF fan, and it didn't dawn on me until both of them were in the ring how similar MJF and Jeff Jarrett are. Their in-ring segment showed it. Their mic skills were the same, and then I thought about it. Even MJF does the little walk that Jeff Jarrett was doing, that he was mocking, like Ric Flair did. All of those guys, he is like the new version of Jeff Jarrett. And he got to Jeff Jarrett, and Jeff Jarrett tried to beat the hell out of MJF. I see something happening, a rivalry going on there. And maybe he'll pass the baton over to MJF because he is basically like his son. So, but that's all I got for that. MJF is good. He's excellent wrestler, but he is more of a mic technician than anything. Speaking of which, we have Christian Cage, who is a veteran. But he's been going against Hook and did some things to even Hook and Taz and all of these things. And him and his clique of individuals, which I don't really think they're the wackest clique I've ever seen. Hook and him had a match and they came out. Of course, Christian doesn't fight fair. But he did not anticipate the return of oh my goodness, Samoa Joe came back. Nobody anticipated this. I didn't see this one coming. Samoa Joe came back and destroyed everybody. There was a little click with him and Shibata, and my goodness, that's a nice click. I feel sorry for the learning tree. Joe is going to kill you because they're the ones who basically put him out. So at the end of the day, Joe's been out for a while. He's back. He's getting tuned up. He's going after his enemies. He does not forget anything. So you got Shibata, Samoa Joe, and Hook back together again. The whole gang is back together again. All right, let's talk about the ladies. The ladies, let's run it down. Got in the new Japan Strong Women's Champion and TBS Champion Mercedes Moné. We last saw her back with backup from Camille, but that didn't last long because I think their egos, Mercedes' ego more than anything, wouldn't allow her to have any backup. But she has shown, she's earned my respect, doing things on her own and beating the hell out of people by herself. So I don't think she ever needed backup, to be honest with you. But I'm ready for a champion versus champion match. Mercedes Moné versus Mariah, and winner take all. Because if you don't know, AEW World Champion Mariah May, there's ladies vying for that. And I was hoping that, there would be some other surprises. But in the ladies casino gauntlet match, you had Chris Statlander and Jamie Hayter to start, and competitors Megan Bain, Julia Hart, Willow, and Toni Storm, and Holly Cameron. And the winner of that get a championship match against Mariah May. And who won? None other than Toni Storm. So Toni Storm will have a rematch against Mariah May for that championship at the AEW Grand Slam in Australia on February 15th. So that should be a good popping match. AEW Maximum Carnage 2. I already talked about the 12-man tag, but then you had the Texas Death Match, which was Hangman Adam Page versus Christopher Daniels. That was a bloody-ass match. I'm just going to be real with you. Christopher Daniels should never be in the ring no more. After what Hangman Adam Page did to him, he called himself a fallen angel. He really fell, and I'm pretty sure he saw some angels after that one, because that right there was a hell of a match. He got his ass whipped big time. All right, 6-man tag, undisputed. Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and Adam Cole back together again. They defeated the Shane Taylor Promotions. Now, the match was a good match. It was a good match. But it was the ending that was really entertaining. Shane Taylor himself whipped all three of their asses. Yes. And if it wasn't for my man over on the announcement table, Matt Menard, Daddy Magic, mouthing off to them, and Garcia coming out, that would have been it. Shane Taylor would have just walked out because he whipped their ass already. But Garcia came out, and then he got his ass whipped because it was 4-on-1. So, and I didn't like that anyway. But still in all, Shane Taylor's a big dude. So we're going to see what happens with that. We saw the murderous tag team of Brian Cage and Lance Archer once again destroy Top Flight. But they got their ass whipped again after that match by their friends, Action Andretti and Leo Rush, or so-called friends, because Action Andretti used to be a part of them, but they didn't want Leo Rush to be down with them, so they formed their own tag and whipped their ass. All right, so moving on. We saw the destruction of Max Caster and Anthony Bowen, the Acclaim. I have a lot to say about this. I'm going to keep it short, though, however, because I got a lot more to talk about. The Acclaimed pretty much put AEW out there on the map. You had the president doing the scissoring. You had so many people that loved this scissoring thing. Now, at the end of the day, they should not be broken up. I don't know who the writers are in AEW, but those guys are very entertaining. You don't have a lot of entertainment anymore. And you done lost Penta. So now you needed that. What are y'all doing over there? But to no avail, they broke up. Caster asked Anthony to make a decision on him and Billy Gunn, and he chose Billy Gunn. Which, I'll say this much. Billy Gunn and Anthony Bowen, as a team, can whip all ass. Max Caster is the entertainment, however. Without him, there is no Acclaimed. I'm just being honest. They're just a tag team. So that's my opinion, and I'm gonna stick to that. Ishii versus Okada, boring match, but at the end of the day, Maker actually won. It was also good to see ROH champ Dustin Rhodes in the match, even though it was a jobber. AD Adam Priest, and that was quick work for him. Julia Hart defeated Holly Cameron, and that's all I got for AEW. So AEW was good. Both shows, 2-part segments, good shows. A lot of things coming. Prayerfully, they'll get some writers in there to really do some things, because right now everything is all over the place. People battling this, and a lot of different conglomerates, different people, factions here and there. They need a storyline. They need something different. They need more entertainment. It's a lot of things they need, and they better get it quick, because WWE is doing big things. This whole move to Netflix is big. Speaking of WWE, I'm going to jump right into it right now. As you see, I got on my Royal Rumble hat. This is from 2 years ago, because the one I'm going to wear next is the one from last year, because I go every year. This year, however, I'm not going, because I don't do certain places. But anyway, at the end of the day, it's Royal Rumble season, the WWE, and there's a lot going on in WWE. So let's start. We saw when they first came on the Netflix, we saw the opening, the OTC. The original Tribal Chief Roman Reigns defeats Solo and get his Ulafala back, which says, yes, we are the original bloodline and the only bloodline. However, Solo ain't going away that quick, so he still got his bloodline, and that's what I'm going to call it, Solo's bloodline. Now, he was supposed to talk on SmackDown, but he didn't. They booed him out of the building. But he still has a very dominant team of misfits. Right now, Jacob Fatu, well, actually, there's only 2 of them right now. It's Jacob Fatu and his other cousin. So I'm going to say this. At the end of the day, with just Jacob Fatu by himself, and Solo is a dominant team, period. Adding anybody else would mean that they would destroy all other competition. And this is what I was thinking until they went out there and they started messing with LA Knight. Now, LA Knight, great mic person, doesn't have that power. Remember, I just said you got to have power. If you ain't got power, then all the ring skills you have is going to do stuff, but it's not going to be dominant. You can't be dominant. And that's not even just tag team. That's just in regular wrestling, period. So at the end of the day, you got to have some type of power. Now, it kind of balances out, because Tama Tonga is not a powerful dude, but he is crazy too. So at the end of the day, you got Jacob Fatu, who's crazy and big, and Tama Tonga, who's also crazy but not so big, but he got some muscles. Now, he's a good challenge for LA Knight by himself. But here's the thing. So let's get into it. LA Knight has a new alliance with, guess who? Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman's a big dude. He will give Jacob Fatu the challenge that he needs. But they forget about Solo. Who you got for him? So I still say they need more alliances with that. Speaking of alliances, okay, let's get into things that's been going on Raw. Okay, so we have seen Drew McIntyre, who's been really going in hard to Sami Zayn and to anybody, including CM Punk, especially CM Punk, for after joining the Bloodline to go up against the new, or I should say Solo's Bloodline, and anybody that wants to join them. Sami Zayn, anybody that joined the bloodline, this clique of people can't stand them and has been going up against them. And that's Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. They've been coming at my man really hard about this. And KO has been saying some things too over on SmackDown. So what I see is an alliance that's forming very slowly, but I wouldn't put it past that they get together. Now, they are not going up against Solo, which I find strange because Solo's bloodline was crazier than the OTC, the original bloodline. They're more a threat than anything. But I guess they don't like Roman Reigns. I think that's what it is. And I don't think it's about the bloodline. I think it's about jealousy and envy. That's my personal opinion, and I'm sticking to it. All right. So, meanwhile, in the ring with CM Punk was giving his basically speech about beating Seth Rollins, which was a great match, and he did beat Seth Rollins fair and square, no cheating. Drew comes out, Seth came out, and now we got Drew versus Seth coming up next week. I don't know. I think there will be a 3-man fight between Drew, Seth, and CM Punk. I have to talk to my peoples and get that confirmed. And then we saw also the premiere of Penta this week as he destroyed Chad Gable. AEW lost a good one on that one because Penta was again, they're losing their entertainers. You can't have wrestling without entertainment, period. All right, let's get on to entertainment over here in WWE. Dom was in the doghouse with Liv Morgan. And I see the Judgment Day coming to a very quick end because they're too comical right now. I don't take them serious. Even the match that happened throughout the night, the last match of the night, great match. I'm gonna give it to Damian Priest, and Finn Balor. Great match, street fight everywhere, and it was awesome. They did things I didn't know they would do. And Damian got the win, and he had help from his new alliance, which is the War Raiders, which, if they are actually a clique, that's a very powerful combination of group too. And that would be a good match. And right now, I'm improvising right now because I didn't have this written down. But I'm thinking that if you put the War Raiders together and form an alliance with them, that would make a good match against the Final Testament. But then The Miz adds that extra to Karrion Kross. So, and which, let's just go into while I'm on it. Sami Zayn beat the hell out of Miz and got that win because Miz was talking crap. But anyway, so, that is what it is. Just for updates purposes, Braun Breaker's still the Intercontinental Champion. Sheamus defeated Ludwig Kaiser, my man Bert, and now has that opportunity to face Braun Breaker at Saturday night's main event, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. You had new Intercontinental Women's Champion Lyra Valkyria, who won the entire tournament, beating Dakota Kai. She is now the first ever Intercontinental Women's Champion. So that will be interesting to see where she goes from there. Soon we're going to have that John Cena season because he announced he's going to be retiring and this is going to be his last run. And that run is coming because he was on NXT. I mean, not NXT, he was on WWE's Netflix last week to open it up, along with The Rock, who gave Roman Reigns his own Ulafala. People thought it was going to be some conflict, but blood is blood and family is family. I didn't see it coming that way anyway. The mommy Rhea Ripley got her belt back. She is the women's champ. Tiffany Stratton finally cashed in her Money in the Bank briefcase on Nia Jackson, is now the champion over there on SmackDown. And speaking of my girl Nia Jax came over to Raw to just address Rhea Ripley and say that she's going to be entering in the Women's Battle Royal at the Royal Rumble.
and she will be challenging whoever she feels she needs to challenge for that belt. I think she's going to go after Rhea Ripley. I mean, I know she could probably beat Tiffany Stratton one-on-one because Tiffany won that because somebody else hit her first. But she would go for Rhea Ripley. I think that would basically prove things. But to no avail, Bayley was in the audience, hopped in the ring, and Nia Jax caught a beat down from Bayley and Rhea Ripley before they threw her behind out the ring. Gunther, still the heavyweight champion. Now, here's my opinion. In the audience, we saw the new NXT champion, Obafemi. Gunther is a very, how can I say, cocky individual. However, Jey Uso came out to challenge him. I love Jey. Jey is my boy. But Jey, you're not going to win that one. You're not on the level of Gunther. He was right. But what I will want to see is Obafemi beat the hell out of Gunther. And I think he can. Not that I think. I know he can. Gunther needs to be brought down to size. And a person like Gunther needs to be beaten. Only way he will be brought down to size if he's beaten by Obafemi. Period. So, that is my opinion on that. He needs to be brought down to size by Obafemi. So, that's what I got for that. KO lost his mind, has been saying that he's the champ. Cody is still the champion. So, anybody tell you anything wrong, he's a champion. In fact, they will have a face-to-face on Saturday night's main event. Shawn Michaels will be there to make sure that they sign the contract for their upcoming match at the Royal Rumble. For the belts, because your boy took one of the belts with the wings on it. Tiffy defeated Bayley to defend her championship belt on SmackDown. So she still has that belt. Something suspicious is going on. And I'm going to talk about this right now. So Jade Cargill got attacked. We don't know who. Since then, Bianca was going to have to relinquish the tag team titles, but she got Naomi to step in for her and fill in Jade's spot. Last week, a supposed accident happened where Bianca hit Naomi by accident. Something fishy is going on. Either Bianca or Naomi attacked Jade, and it's going to come out when Jade comes back. But now, Jade, I know, is making movies and doing stuff, so I know that's a real reason. But when she come back, somebody is going to catch her. All right. In other news, right now, the Royal Rumbles tournament for the men is building up. So far, everybody I mentioned just about is in it. Including Rey Mysterio announced it on SmackDown that he's going to be in it. You got CM Punk, who hasn't been in the Royal Rumble since last year. Seth Rollins. My goodness, the Tribal Chief. Drew McIntyre. It's going to be a real heavy Royal Rumble. There's a lot of people building up for this one. Shouldn't be no surprises, but this is going to be a very interesting Royal Rumble. On other news, TNA and NXT announced, and rumors, this is a rumor, I don't know for facts, I'm checking on the facts, that they're going to be doing a mixed match of pay-per-views, and they're going to be working together with each other closely. They're going to have their superstars and respective brands come together, so they will feature possibly Obafemi over there and TNA, and maybe Moose will come over here to NXT. You're going to see what's going to happen in a few weeks with that. In other news, speaking of NXT, we're going to have, let's run it down. Obafemi is the new world champion. Giulia is the NXT women's champion. Tony D'Angelo is the North American champion. Fallon Henley is the women's North American champion. The NXT tag team titles are still held by Frazier and Axiom, and Heritage Cup is now held by Lexis King. Now, next week, I'm going to have more highlights from NXT and TNA because I didn't really mention them in this segment, but I will. Next week, I'll do more on NXT and let you know what's going on with TNA 2025. But I thank y'all all for watching. Thank you for listening. And thank you for hanging in there with me. And we're going to get through whatever we're going through. and I appreciate y'all. My boy, my name is Teo, and to my boys, deuces. We're gonna do some different things coming up. Royal Rumble. We're gonna try to do we're gonna do what we normally do. Our prediction show. We're gonna have it. I got a new schedule now, so we're gonna make it work though. All right, love y'all, and I'm out. Deuces.